Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters was a staple of my childhood, and maybe yours too. But like many children's fairy tales, is it based on a darker folktale? The answer is yes. John Steptoe wanted to write a picture book inspired by his Shona ancestors. He traveled to Southeast Africa, and when he returned, he picked an old folktale called Chief Fiveheads from a 19th century book of Shona folklore recorded by historian George McCall Thiel. The folktale has a lot in common with the kind and unkind girls category of folktales. That category includes Frau Holle and the Talking Eggs and Diamonds and Toads, which I presented just a month ago or so. This type of fairy tale includes one girl who does a series of actions, making good choices and gets rewarded for those, and a second girl who does the same series of actions, making bad choices and gets punished. Here's the tale that inspired John Steptoe's award winning picture book.
Fucked up fairy tales with Liz.
Ding! There once was a man who had two daughters of marrying age. One day the man visited a neighboring village and learned that the chief there was seeking a new wife for his retinue of wives. And when the man returned home, he asked his daughters, "Which one of you ladies wants to marry a chief?" Obviously, they both did, but the eldest spoke up first, so her father decreed she would present herself as a possible bride. A large bridal party was assembled to go with the eldest daughter, as was customary in presenting oneself as a potential spouse. But the girl insisted on going alone. Her father warned her against this, calling her a fool, but she refused and she set off on her journey. On her way, the girl met a mouse.
Shall I show you the way to the chief?
The girl recoiled. "Ugh, a mouse! Gross! Get out of my sight!"
Wow, that attitude'll get you nowhere fast.
Next, the girl met a frog, who once again offered to escort her. And the girl sneered, "A frog dares to speak to the future wife of a chief? Be gone!"
Suit yourself. You'll get what's coming to you.
When the girl stopped to rest under a tree, a young goatherd approached her, begging for food and asking about her journey. Once again, the girl turned the boy away pompously. The boy had the most ominous warning of all. But once again, the girl dismissed him. Next on her journey, the girl met an old woman resting by a large stone. The woman offered her advice. "You will encounter several temptations. A thicket of trees will laugh at you, but you must not laugh in return. You'll find a bag of milk, but it is not for you to drink. Lastly, you will meet a man whose head is under his arm. Do not take any water from him." The girl scoffed. Why should I take advice from such an ugly old crone? Naturally, she did the opposite of what the old woman advised in all three instances. Further, she refused to take advice from a single person, brushing past anyone who was in her way, holding her head high to meet the chief. Upon her arrival, the girl was told to prepare bread for the chief with a bag of grain that she was provided, and the girl hastily ground the flour, which resulted in a tough bread. That evening, the chief showed up, with a strong wind ushering him home. The girl looked up, terrified to see that her future husband was an enormous snake with 5 heads and flashing eyes. When he tasted the hasty bread she'd made, he turned on her menacingly.
Never has anyone failed so many tests in such a short amount of time.
Then he struck her with his tail and killed her. Normally, with such a violent husband, I would say that this girl dodged a bullet, but that bullet got her good. Back in the girl's home village, the younger daughter revealed that she would also like to present herself as a wife to the chief. And as is customary in these tales, she acted in the complete opposite way as her proud sister. She graciously accepted a bridal company for her journey, she allowed small animals to help her along the way, and took the advice of wise old women. She took care with the bread she made, and she faced her snake suitor bravely.
She's cooperative, she cooks, and she's courageous to boot.
So the younger daughter became his new bride. It turns out that the snake chief was just a man enchanted to be a 5-headed snake, and the youngest daughter became the wife he loved best. The end. While I usually prefer the old dark versions of fairy tales, I really like the changes that Steptoe made for his picture book, especially the element that the chief was all of the characters the girls met along the way. Steptoe was a talent at such a young age and was taken from this world far too soon, having died of AIDS at only 38 years old. His talented son Javaka Steptoe followed in his footsteps, and I highly recommend you look up books by them both. I'll see you for the next fucked up fairy tale.